Hi, my name's Caleb, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit of my testimony in an experience where I've seen God prepare me for something before I've gone through it. So really quickly, a little bit of information about me. My name's Caleb. I'm 20 years old. I now live alone near my university where I study theology, music, and worship. And I have 3 other siblings. I'm one of 4. I have an older sister called Yasmin. I have a younger brother called Noah and a younger sister called Trinity. This experience goes back quite a few years. So when I was about 14, 15 years old, my parents split up and separated, and just now they're sort of finalizing their divorce and all those sort of things. And my parents are Christians. My family are Christians, and my dad walked out when I was about 15, and then came the fact that my mum had to start working before she would look after the kids, and dad would go to work, and she'd be at home with the kids. But so she hadn't worked in maybe 20, 18 years, something like that. And she had to go back to work. So she got a job as a nurse, as a carer, and she loves her job. I'm really proud of her for the job that she does. But when I was about 15, my older sister Yasmin had just finished her studies. So then she went into full-time work. So she was working evenings, and my mum, as a nurse and a carer, she was working every hour under the sun. So that meant in the evenings after school and that sort of stuff at home, I was left to look after my younger siblings. And with my dad leaving and me being the eldest son, a lot of the sort of man of the house jobs, as it were, the taking the bins out and physical stuff and upkeep of the house and cleaning and all those sort of little things that my mum and dad would usually share responsibility for. My mum was now working, so couldn't do the bits that she'd usually do, and the bits that dad usually do, he wasn't there to do either. So I'd be doing both, and I'd be making dinner for my siblings and all that sort of thing. And that was quite hard as a child still. And then with that afterwards came the fact that then my grandparents, especially my grandfather, started to become very sick and need more hands-on care. And then me being the person free, I wasn't working, I was in school, but I was old enough to sort of handle it, I guess, whereas my younger siblings weren't, and my older sister Yasmin and mum were in full-time work. I would regularly look after my grandparents, my granddad, more specifically. And with that was a lot of responsibility and weight on my shoulders as a 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old. And that was really hard, but God massively prepared me for it. And it wasn't till maybe last year, maybe the year before, that I realized how he did. At this time, I was really fighting with God about the amount of different things that we often go through when we go through the hard times. We're angry at God. It's like, where are you? What are you doing? Why is this bad thing happening to me? Why has this bad stuff happened to me in my past? And sometimes it takes a few years to realize that, lo and behold, you were wrong and God was right. And I now realize and remember how, when I was 15, God put people in my life that I needed. My dad had left. I'd lost my male role model. As a male, that's quite important. My mum was now always busy, and I, in some ways, lost my mum as well. And that was really hard, and that would have an effect on me. But God helped me grow into the man that I needed to be by putting not a new mother and father, but 2 friends from my church. It's actually one of my best friends, Alex. Her parents, Will and Louise. Now, Will and Louise were 45, 50 years old. They really took me under their wing, and I only now see that their hospitality wasn't just hospitality, but they were embodiments of Christ-like behavior. The way they treated me and the way they took care of me when I was having to take care of what seemingly was everyone else was so powerful. And I'll never forget how much they did that for me. And I now realize how much God played a part in putting them in my life at the time that he did. So always trust in God. You never quite know what his plan's going to be. Every time you think that he's closing a door in your face, you're probably wrong, because at least in my experience, every time I felt like that, he's opened 2, 3 or 10 more. So yes, that's my testimony about an experience where God prepares us even if we don't think he does. Amen.